Good afternoon, Oak Grove. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another installment of our midweek content series here on the church's YouTube channel, where I just pop in the middle of the week to say hello and just make sure that our church family stays on our consciousness all week long and not just on Sunday mornings. The purpose is just to remind us the church is still here and still a part of our lives. And so thank you for taking a few minutes of your day to hang out with me here. And what am I going to talk to you about this week? I don't have anything in particular that's pressing for me right now. It's been a busy week in the office for me as I've been trying to work ahead a little bit to get ready for the vacation week that I will be taking this next week. I've already been announcing it that I will be out from this coming Sunday, the 8th, through Saturday, the 14th. And so we have supply preaching coverage this weekend, and we have supply pastoral emergency coverage for the following week. And so I encourage you to see your bulletin from this last week and from this next week for information for pastoral care coverage if you need to reach out to somebody during that time. Since I've been at Oak Grove so far, I technically get 4 weeks of vacation on my contract, and I've only taken one so far, so I'm running behind. And for the record, for those of you who have been asking, Julie and I are not going anywhere. We're just taking a staycation. So the ironic thing being, I'll actually be home and next door to you all while you're worshiping on Sunday, but I'm not supposed to be allowed to come over during the vacation week, or at least the synod might take issue with that if I did, because they tell you vacation week means you're not there, you're out of it. So maybe we'll go worship somewhere else for that week. I don't know. We'll see. But in any event, I will miss you all this weekend, and I look forward to rejoining you the following Sunday for Rally Day, when so many exciting things are going on that following weekend and then the weekend after. On the 15th, we'll have Rally Day to kick off the Sunday school year. After worship, there will be food and there'll be games and activities, and there'll be lots of fun that morning. That evening on the 15th, confirmation class will resume, and then the following week on the 22nd, the regular Sunday school year will begin with classes for the littles and classes for the adults. And we will also have our new revamped youth group program kicking off that evening. We encourage the youth of the congregation to join Tracy Schaefer and I as we head off to chaperone the youth group at Unionville United Methodist Church on the second and fourth Sundays of each month. That is our effort to try to rejuvenate our youth group by teaming up with them. So lots of exciting things going on in just a couple weeks as the Sunday school year begins. You'll also note that we'll begin wearing the robes up front as well. I just had my robe pressed the other day, trying to get some of those old wrinkles out of it. I used it for a wedding this last weekend, and I can assure you that that was a very hot wedding. It was about 85 degrees in the sanctuary of the church that I did the wedding. It was at St. John's Carnegie, which is where I did my senior year internship work. So just sharing with you some general announcements and things, and I usually do like to leave you with some kind of a devotion as well, even when I don't have anything else going on. I'm going to read to you Psalm 146 from the Daily Lectionary readings for today. I've explained in the past our lectionary from which we get our readings. They actually have readings appointed for every day of the year, not just Sundays. And I'm going to read to you Psalm 146 from the Daily Lectionary today. Praise the Lord, my soul. I will praise the Lord all my life. I will sing praise to my God as long as I live. Do not put your trust in princes, in human beings who cannot save. When their spirit departs, they return to the ground. On that very day, their plans come to nothing. Blessed are those whose help is the God of Jacob, whose hope is in the Lord their God. He is the maker of heaven and earth, the sea and everything in them. He remains faithful forever. He upholds the cause of the oppressed and gives food to the hungry. The Lord sets prisoners free. The Lord gives sight to the blind. The Lord lifts up those who are bowed down. The Lord loves the righteous. The Lord watches over the foreigner and sustains the fatherless and the widow, but he frustrates the way of the wicked. The Lord reigns forever. Your God, O Zion, for all generations. Praise the Lord. And so, I was looking through the handful of readings they have appointed in the Daily Lectionary, and that psalm just kind of jumped out at me for at least two reasons. A, when it says, "Do not put your trust in princes, in human beings who cannot save." I'm sorry, I still cannot help but be reminded again of the upcoming presidential election and the toxic environment in our political landscape in America in the year 2024. When I hear, "Do not put your trust in princes," we are so balkanized, we're so fortified in our positions against one another. My guy or my gal is the one that I'm supporting, and I will not hear anything of the other one. I'm not listening. La 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 la. I'm not listening. Ultimately, you should be passionate about social issues. You should be passionate about your candidate. I hope you're passionate about your candidate. I'm not telling you shouldn't vote. I'm not telling you shouldn't be passionate. I'm not telling you can't vote red or blue or green or yellow, whatever you want to vote for. But our trust should never be in the earthly leaders that we're electing. That's never where the followers of Jesus are supposed to be putting our trust, no matter who they are, whether they're blue or red or whomever else. Our trust is in the Lord. Our trust is always in God's ways and God's paths, in God's kingdom, and not the way of earthly leaders who someday will be forgotten and they will be in the dirt, while the Lord's way is still eternal. And so that jumped out at me. And then the other thing that jumped out at me too is the fact that the psalmist speaks here of the Lord upholding the cause of the oppressed, giving food to the hungry, setting the prisoners free, sustaining the fatherless and the widow, frustrating the ways of the wicked. And we hear those psalms, and then sometimes we watch the news and we look out our window and say to ourselves, where's that happening? I ain't seeing it happen in my life. I see evil winning all the time. I see people going hungry all the time. I see justice not being served all the time. Well, this Sunday that I'm going to miss with you all is the ELCA's designated God's Work Our Hands Sunday. It's a day of service, and it's a day for us to take a moment to remember the fact that as we're crying out, why doesn't God do something about all the injustice in our world? Maybe God is looking down upon us and saying, that's funny. I was thinking the same thing about you. You're the one that I've elected and entrusted to do that, God says to us. And we can't fix all of those problems. We can't feed all of the hungry in one night. We can't clothe all the homeless in one night. But what we can do is our part. And here at Oak Grove, there are people that do that. We take up our collection for compassionate ministries every month. Vivian and the other social ministry ladies, they're cooking meals for the homeless shelter all the time. We are engaging in those things the best we can. And sometimes, as we try to form in our minds a theodicy, an explanation of why is there evil in the world and why does God allow all of the evil things that happen in the world, maybe we just spend too much time worrying about the causes of evil instead of just doing something. And I know I'm being a little repetitive, but I talked about this in a previous devotional a few weeks ago. I know that, but it still bears repeating. As I look around and I see all the hurt, instead of trying to figure out where it came from, okay, do something now, today. Take some action. As God is describing all of these things here through the psalmist about what is done, and we're wondering when's it going to happen, maybe it's going to happen when we take some action to make those things happen. So it's just food for thought from our psalm. And again, I know that, that might be a little bit repetitive, but it because I've talked about it before, but we can't stand to be reminded often enough. God is waiting for us to be God's hands and feet in doing those things. It is God's work, our hands. That's the way it works. That's all I have for you today, Oak Grove. Just some things to ponder. I will not see you this Sunday. We welcome Pastor Brian Bennett to our pulpit, Oak Grove's own, and I look forward to seeing you on Rally Day the following week. So thank you. Take care. I will see you then. Have a good week. God bless you all.